Well, I'm Shyra,
And I'm Karista.
and today we wanted to talk about apologizing or saying the words, specifically, I'm sorry. Um, we decided to do a little bit of a fun game. We're here in Pipe Creek, Texas at an Airbnb. So, click, different background and all that. Wanted to have a little retreat, a little getaway for her and I to not only work on our content for you guys and start doing things like building our Patreon. And at some point in time, we're even looking at doing different courses on our website. So, yeah, so we've been out here doing that and then taking much needed
R&R.
bringing it down a notch. So, in doing this, she's pointed out to me a few times, more than a few times, that I say, I'm sorry, like for almost everything.
And, we were having, okay, so we've been here this weekend and I do a fantastic job of calling her out on this pretty frequently and be like, what are you sorry for? Why are you sorry? Sorry, I'm not sorry. And this has been going on for a while, right? It's not just this weekend, but it's, a conversation
yeah.
or I've commented regularly, hopefully I'm not like nagging. It's not the point of it. It's more of like just creating awareness. And then we were talking last night in one of our, just many deep conversations that we've had plenty of, time for here, which is just delightful. That I said something that hit a little harder.
Yeah.
And, previously in other episodes, we've talked about affirmations and affirmations and how this is stated, I am sorry, is an affirmation that will continue to support manifestation and creating additional scenarios for this to keep coming back up.
Yep.
And I don't know, for me, it's almost like I am, like, if I say I am sorry, it's like I am calling myself a sorry person or a sorry human. Like I don't want to disappoint. I feel like inadequate or a burden. I'm in the way. Those are like the thoughts that come in my mind when I recognize that I'm doing this, because I do it too, right? There's been several instances where she's called me out also. It's not one-sided. But it just kind of, it hit harder, you said last night when I was like, you're affirming that in your reality.
Yeah. It was interesting because we were just chilling outside looking at this beautiful serene view, and we kind of even made it into a little bit of whatever we've got in our cups game, right? So and so every time you say I'm sorry, you would need to take a sip. If it's water, it's cool too.
Like this morning I drank orange juice,
right? So she'd sip that. And we were sitting there and we were talking, and I think I had said it again, and you were like, it's almost like you're doing an affirmation, but the affirmation is not the effect in the positive direction that you're wanting to go into. It's the affirmation of continuing to feel like you're inadequate. And for some reason, the way you said it to me, that seemed to resonate, because especially I've been practicing the affirmations in the morning. So when I wake up in the mornings, I say affirmations to myself, so I can start to retrain my brain to come out of this like mindset of lack, mindset of irritation or anger or unhappiness that I tend to have when I first wake up in the morning for some reason. And anyway, digressing from that, when we went to the grocery store to come out to this Airbnb, this is crazy. We were talking about this last night. We went to the grocery store when we came out to the Airbnb to pick up groceries to be here. And while we're going down one of the aisles, I was pushing the cart and Carrie was standing in front of the cart, and there was another lady that had stopped her cart, and then there was another lady behind her, and she was staring at me, but she didn't say a word. She didn't say a single word to me at all. And I'm just looking at the hot chocolate options, up on the shelf and in my own little world. And I looked at her and I saw the stare, and I immediately said to her, "I'm sorry." And I backed my cart up. And then she kind of came through and went by. And it was interesting when we were in our chat yesterday, and when you said that in that way, it dawned on me that I was there.
You are literally taking all of the responsibility.
Right. I was taking all the ownership when she could have, asked me to move, or she could have scooted by,
or even said, "Excuse me."
Or said, right. I just went ahead and just assumed everything here is on me and this is my bad, and all that. And that was a interesting, I didn't think of it that way until you made the affirmation comment to me. So and you've done some research on the things that you feel might be portraying to yourself when you do say "I'm sorry" quite a bit.
Yeah, reading this morning, there were, just very briefly, why do people apologize so frequently or say sorry so much? And a lot of that, like I said earlier, stemmed from feelings of inadequacy, or like you're a burden on other people. And, I'm not saying there's not times and places where an apology is needed, but there's other ways of saying it, right? Like, rather than saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I'm late," it can turn it into a positive moment of gratitude. "Thank you so much for your patience because it took me a little bit longer to get here." Or another way that you can say it is, "I apologize for that. I did not realize that was, I hurt your feelings," or just an example. But you're apologizing rather than taking ownership of being this inadequate human. Because it's not that you're inadequate.
We're not inadequate. We're amazing. Yeah. And another thing that I feel like was kind of something of a aha moment was just the frequency.
Yes.
Especially when we turned it into a game. And
the first night.
Oh my gosh.
We got here, we checked in at 4:00, got, ourselves set up. And then I think by the end of the night, I think within a few hours, it had already been 30 times where I've been like, "What are you sorry for?"
So many.
I started counting. I was having one for every 4.
and then I actually started making excuses for it. I believe I said to you at one point, well, in the way I feel like I was taught to that saying "I'm sorry" is a form of politeness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, just think about that for a second.
That's a pattern, right?
Yeah. I'm apologizing for me, and that's my way of being polite.
But wouldn't it be so much nicer if you had said, "Oh, thank you so much for, letting me know that you needed to get by in the aisle. Oh, thank you for calling my attention to that."
Well, had she actually said that?
Yeah, no.
Right.
She just gave you a stare.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Well, and that's when you ask, "Oh, do you need to go by?"
Yeah. Instead of just assuming.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
And then it's not like, oh, I keep hitting that. It's not an apology, right? It's not like taking on that responsibility. You are putting the ball in their court. Do you need to get by? Practice communicating, please.
Yeah. Stop being sorry.
Yeah, you're not a sorry person. You're a very incredible, magical human with so much love, and you constantly lift people up. I don't see how that is in any form of a definition a sorry person.
No, you're totally right. And Thank you. Sweet. I'm not entirely sure I've ever played a game on my very large amount of I'm sorry's. Like it, it was it was a bit eye-opening. I'm not gonna lie.
How much money would you save if you put $1 in a jar for every time you said sorry?
Well, first off, I was not thirsty after that night. Like at all. And again, this is like one of those fun things where when you start to bring awareness to something you were unaware of, that's when you can implement change. And if you so choose, you can implement that change in a positive direction. And that's what we hope for. That's what we try to help guide, right? And we're not just doing that to help guide others, we're also doing it to help guide ourselves. And one small change of stopping to apologize for who you are in a natural state of being is a good step forward. And I'm definitely not sure I'm ready to say apologies for things that I like for real, that was my bad, right? Like, but even when we are at work,
that's what,
yeah,
what you said about that,
right? When you're at work, it's like a standard thing to not type the words into like a chat, at work or in an email, especially to say, I'm sorry. It's actually considered incorrect to do that. And that you would normally start with my apologies or
I apologize for the delay.
I apologize. Right. Like, and that way you're apologizing for that moment versus for who you are. And
beautifully said.
Yeah. And like, that's not, and it dawned on me when we were conversating about this, especially after that affirmation comment, like, well, crap, I've literally just been apologizing for who I am versus whatever moment I've caused, right? Quite a bit, actually. That's quite a bit. That's legit. Like, oh my gosh.
So like, I think, we've stated this several times in previous episodes, just like how, what you said earlier, the creating awareness is giving us that opportunity to create change in our lives, to, let go of old programming and start practicing new patterning that is more supportive and more loving and more uplifting. And when we do that for ourselves, we are actually doing that for the people around us.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. And I hope that by sharing our exchange this weekend, that it brings about that awareness for you guys. If you are someone like myself who has constantly been saying, I'm sorry, to the point that it's just now a standard thing. It's been a standard thing for me all this time. And I never even realized it until she calls me out and tells me to take a sip. And I'm like, shit, did I just say that again? Like, that's one of those moments where I'm now aware that it's happening, and I'm now trying to actively reprogram myself to quit apologizing for who I am, and just allow the I'm sorry to, and I apologize for a scenario if there's an apology to be had, right?
Or even like finding a way to transmute that into gratitude.
Right. Yeah.
Again,
important. Yeah.
Thank you for your patience while I ran late.
Agreed. 110%.
All right. So we're going to get back to our retreating. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for your time and for your energy. We love you so much. Don't forget, we've got our holiday giveaway going on. We will be drawing a name on December 25th and announcing it on that same day. And don't forget that to enter the giveaway, you have to share the giveaway post and tag Love Always Self in that. And we will jot your name down on our list and do a drawing.
Yeah. And I am tracking if you are sharing it on Facebook. I can see when you've shared that, and I'm tracking it that way. And on Instagram, of course, you have to share it as a story. And I do see that, and I am looking every day for those. So don't worry, your name will not get missed. Please don't forget, if you are watching this on one of the platforms in which you hit all the bells and whistles and likes and follows, that helps us out in growth, and it helps deliver this message to more people that may need to hear it.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you and we thank you so, so much.
And also we have our Patreon, which yeah.
Forgot we did
So you can go onto our website, lovealwaysself.com, and go to the Higher Self tab, scroll down, you'll be able to see a few of the free messages that we provided from Mount Glass. And then once you sign up for the Patreon, you'll get access to the full archive, as well as some other really neat things that you get monthly through the different levels of the Patreon. So go on there and check those out. The first 5 people that have signed up for Patreon will get a free personalized reading as well from Mount Glass. So hurry up. We've already got some people that have nabbed those.
Yeah. Just recorded one of those messages yesterday. So
so check that out. And then
yeah,
is that it?
I think that's it.
We're so grateful for you guys, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, which,
we're like a couple of days away from that at this time of the recording.
Yeah.
So,
but either way, this will come out like right after Thanksgiving. So you don't have don't just limit it to one day of gratitude.
Yeah.
Just like Valentine's Day. Just one day of love.
Just one day of love? That doesn't exist. It's constant. It's infinite. It's infinite.
We love you and we are so grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
And don't forget to love first,
love last,
and love always.
Perfect. Even in person. Even in person. Bye, everybody.
Hey, listener, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this moment. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and we look forward to our next connection.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to stay notified of new content from Love Always Self. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for us to discuss, please hit us up on any of our social media platforms linked in the show notes below.
I'm Karista.
And I'm Shyra.
And until next time, remember to love first,
love last,
and love always. Love Always Self podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, and accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. Any action you choose to take upon the information in this podcast is strictly done so at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of our podcast. Any and all medical concerns should be addressed with a licensed healthcare provider, as well as any questions that may be derived from the information discussed in this podcast.